Hello and welcome to your English class. Hope you have seen the previous videos and you are following the story, The Homecoming. Just a quick recap of the story that Pathik and Makhan are two brothers जिनकी आपस में बनती नहीं है, वो खूब लड़ते हैं. Mother thinks that Pathik is a nuisance and because she is a single mother, she finds it very difficult to deal with the two brothers who are extremely naughty. Makhan is a little bit clever because he does the mischief, but वो घर जाकर झूठ बोलता है हमेशा और बच जाता है और हमेशा मक्खन फंस जाता है. And that is the reason why Makhan doesn't like Pathik much, क्योंकि वो हमेशा झूठ बोल के उसको मार पिटवाता है. In between all this commotion, Pathik's mama or uncle comes in and he's meeting this family, Pathik's family, after many years. So when he comes to know about Pathik, he offers to take Pathik to Calcutta with him. So we have read till the point where Vishambar, that is Pathik's uncle, has put in this idea that he would want to take Pathik to Calcutta with him. And Pathik agrees, even the mother agrees, because उनके लिए थोड़ा कम टेंशन है, Pathik वहाँ से चले जाएगा. At the same time, Pathik is very happy because he'll be going to a new place. He's fed up of Makhan's tactics. He's fed up of being there. He feels neglected by the mother also. So he feels कि अगर वो नई जगह पे चले जाएगा तो maybe things will be better for him. But he doesn't know what is in store for him. So let's find out what happens when he reaches Calcutta. When they reached Calcutta, Pathik made the acquaintance of his aunt for the first time. She was by no means pleased with this unnecessary addition to this family. She found her own 3 boys quite enough to manage without taking anyone else. And to bring a village lad of 14 into their midst was terribly upsetting. Vishambar should really have thought twice before committing such an indiscretion, right? So जब वो कलकत्ता पहुंचता है तो वो अपनी मामी से मिलता है. He meets his aunt. Now aunt already has 3 children. अगर आपने जैसे कलकत्ता कभी गए हो तो आपने नोट देखा होगा, कलकत्ता इज़ अ वेरी कंजस्टेड सिटी. ठीक है, घर भी बड़े छोटे होते हैं और बहुत पास होते हैं और मतलब स्पेस बहुत कम है और सड़कों पे और मोहल्लों में कॉलोनीज़ में चीज़ें बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. सो इट सीम्स वेरी कंजस्टेड. Already she has 3 boys. It's difficult for her to manage those 3 boys, and Vishambar has brought this 4th child. Now Pathik is 14 years old, so he is already a teenager. He has his own needs. He's going through a lot of transformation physically, mentally, emotionally. He needs a lot of attention, which he was not getting at home. तो ये सोच के कलकत्ता आता है कि शायद वो ही अटेंशन उसको यहाँ पे मिलेगा. But when he comes home, it's something opposite that happens, because his auntie is not happy to see him, and especially with the idea that he is going to stay with them is not at all welcomed by the auntie. और वो अपने हस्बैंड से बोलती है कि तुमको पूछना चाहिए था, डिस्कस करना चाहिए था उसको यहाँ लाने से पहले. ऑलरेडी हम लोग का फैमिली इतना बड़ा है और तुमने वो उसको भी तुम लेकर आए हो. सो इट इज़ वेरी डिफ़िकल्ट टू हैंडल 4 boys नाउ इन द हाउस. In this world of human affairs, there is no worse nuisance than a boy at the age of 14. He is neither ornamental nor useful. It is impossible to shower affection on him as on a little boy, and he is always getting in the way. If he talks with the childish lips, he is called a baby, And if he answers in a grown up manner, he is called impertinent. In fact, any talk at all from him is resented. Then he is at the unattractive growing age. He grows out of his clothes with indecent haste. His voice grows hoarse and breaks and quavers. His face grows suddenly, angular and unsightly. It is easy to excuse the shortcomings of early childhood, but it is hard to tolerate even unavoidable lapses in a boy of 14. The lad himself becomes painfully self conscious. When he talks with elderly people, he is either unduly forward or else so unduly shy that he appears ashamed of his very existence. Right? So, the writer has very beautifully described the teenage. Okay, when the boy is growing up, his voice is changing, it's becoming a little heavy and पूरी तरह से भारी भी नहीं होती है, बड़ी होर्स वॉइस हो जाती है, कपड़े छोटे होने लगते हैं, आप अचानक से ऐसा लगता है कि बहुत स्पीड में आप लंबे भी हो रहे हो, आपका फेस चेंज हो रहा है, आपके जो फीचर्स हैं वो बदल रहे हैं. एंड यू नो the you are neither a child nor you are an adult. So you, if you sit with elders, then they say you are a child, you go away from here. And when you sit with babies or children, they feel you yourself feel awkward because they are not of your age. So it's a very delicate age where a teenage, a boy especially, needs a lot of affection, needs somebody to tell him what's going on with him, what are the changes going on with him. You need somebody who will emotionally support you, give you attention, because you become more aware of your looks, of your voice, of how you're looking, how you're carrying yourself. And it's a terrible age. Oh, every one of you must have gone through that also. It's not only boys, the girls also go through a lot of changes in your body. So there are emotional changes, there are physical changes, and the needs also change. And you need somebody to tell you that this is going on, this is quite normal. And sadly, Pathik doesn't have anybody to tell him that all these changes are going on in you, so it's totally acceptable. उसके पास कोई है नहीं, और वो यही सोच लेके शायद कलकत्ता आया था कि शायद उसको ये अटेंशन मिलेगा, शायद उसको वो प्यार मिलेगा, या शायद उसे कोई मिलेगा जो उसको समझ सकता है. But sadly, he doesn't get any of this, what he had expected when he will go to Calcutta. Yet, it is at this very age when, in his heart of hearts, a young lad most craves for recognition and love, and he becomes the devoted slave of anyone who shows him consideration. But none dare openly love him, for that would be regarded as undue indulgence and therefore bad for the boy. So, what with scolding and chiding, he becomes very much like a stray dog that has lost his master. Okay? For a boy of 14, his own home is the only paradise. To live in a strange house with strange people is little short of torture, while the height of bliss is to receive the kind looks of women and never to be slighted by them. Right. Now, this is, I told you, this is the age where you need a lot of love, and you means there's a feeling of being wanted, right? The child feels, whether it's a girl or a boy, and because we are talking about Pathik just now, it's that age where you want to feel wanted. और अगर आपको घर के बाहर का कोई भी आदमी ऐसा फील करवाएगा कि यू आर इम्पोर्टेंट, यू आर वांटेड, ऑटोमेटिकली यू विल बी अट्रैक्टेड टू दैट पर्सन, right? And once you're attracted to that person, it might be dangerous also, because you never know what kind of person you're getting attracted to. It can be the opposite sex, it can be a person who might take advantage of this situation, or there can be various other scenes also. And in case of Pathek, this is what that is missing. Okay, is a particular age where if you start scolding, and chiding means to get angry, to get डांटना. So if you start scolding and beating the child, that means you've lost the child, क्योंकि वो उतना ज़्यादा ज़िद्दी बन जाएगा, और he will always want to break the rules. उसको ये सब बातें बिल्कुल भी, like a child doesn't like to be corrected all the time, and this is the time when he starts reacting to whatever the people around him say. So you have to be very, very patient with such kind of children, because that's a very, very tender age. Tender as well as dangerous, right? So that's the time when you want lot of attention. And for a girl, for a boy of 14 years, it's actually the home which can provide you with that. A home, a family. That is, these are the things that can provide you with that love, with that affection, with that attention. And you needn't go outside. But once you start missing all these points at home, this is the time जब बच्चे बाहर अटेंशन ढूंढने लगते हैं, बाहर प्यार ढूंढने लगते हैं, और ज़्यादातर वो लोग गलत कंपनी में फंस जाते हैं, या फिर they tend to get into bad habits or bad company, or they might indulge into something which is not good for their personal development. It was anguish to Pathek to be the unwelcome guest in his aunt's house, despised by this elderly woman and slighted on every occasion. If she ever asked him to do anything for her, he would be so overjoyed that he would overdo it, and then she would tell him not to be so stupid, but to get on with his lessons. Okay, now अब रहना तो शुरू कर दिया पथिक ने, लेकिन this auntie doesn't like him, okay, and she's very open with her feelings. तो वो जिस चीज़ से भाग कर आया था अपनी माँ के घर से, और सोचा था कि उसको यहाँ पे मिलेगी, वही चीज़ उसको नहीं मिल रही है. And the aunt is all the more rough and rude with him, more than his mother. And this is the time that he realizes कि वो जो प्यार चाह रहा था, जो attention चाह रहा था, वो उसको नहीं मिलता था यहाँ पे. And sometimes like the auntie never spoke to him first of all. Then कभी कभी जब वो उसको काम दे देती थी कुछ, some important work, then he used to be so happy कि वो खुशी के मारे ना वो काम को कुछ ज़्यादा ही दिल लगा के कर देता था, और उसमें भी वो he used to spoil the work. तो आंटी उसकी फिर उसको डांट देती थी कि तुम, इससे बेहतर है कि तुम कुछ करो ही मत, एक तो तुमको कुछ बोलते नहीं है, ऊपर से तुम काम भी बिगाड़ देते हो. So he did not know how to make her happy, though he would try his best. After all, he was just a child, just a 14-year-old kid. Some of your brothers would be of that age, you know how they are, and all the time they want to play or trouble you, or they are restless people जिनको कुछ ना कुछ करने की आदत होती है, एक जगह नहीं बैठ सकते ऐसे बच्चे. And obviously already this woman has to take care of 3 boys, और उसमें ये teenage boy आया है, तो आंटी को बिल्कुल भी पसंद नहीं आता है. And auntie would sometimes just say कि तुम जाओ पढ़ो, and but he would never get help also. पढ़ाई में भी कोई उसकी मदद नहीं करता था, उसको अकेले ही करना पड़ता था. So that was also one big problem for him. The cramped atmosphere of neglect in his aunt's house oppressed Pathik so much that he felt that he could hardly breathe. He wanted to go out into the open country and fill his lungs and breathe freely. But there was no open country to go to, surrounded on all sides by Calcutta houses and walls. He would dream night after night of his village home and long to go back there. He remembered the glorious meadow where he used to fly his kite all day long, the broad river bank where he would wander about the livelong day, singing and shouting for joy, the narrow brook where he could go and dive and swim at any time he liked. He thought of his band of boy companions, over whom he was despot, and above all the memory of that tyrant mother of his, who had such a prejudice against him, occupied him day and night. A kind of physical love like that of animals, a longing to be in the presence of the one who is loved, an inexpressible wistfulness during absence, a silent cry of the inmost heart for the mother, like the lowing of calf in the twilight. This love, which was almost an animal instinct, agitated the shy, nervous, lean, uncouth, and ugly boy. No one could understand it, but it preyed upon him and his mind continually. Right? So earlier I told you how what kind of a city is Calcutta, unlike Bombay and Delhi and Madras. It's different. It's very congested. और मैंने कहा कि घर बहुत पास होते हैं, तो वो तो गांव में रहता था. He used to stay in a village, so he was used to open fields, running, playing outside, जो कि यहाँ पे नहीं हो पाता था, because the city is like that. If you have a place to live in, that's more than that you can accept. But over here he started missing home. He started wondering, and night after night, every night he used to dream about his village, about the riverside जहाँ वो खेलता था अपने दोस्तों के साथ, about the boys with whom he used to play. He used to जिस पे वो अपनी गुंडागर्दी जमा सकता था या अपने आप को वो बॉस बनता था. Here he is not like that at all. He is submissive, he is shy. और जहाँ वो अपने फीलिंग्स को वहाँ पे अच्छे से बता पाता था, वो यहाँ नहीं कर पा रहा है. ओके. एंड he in his heart, somewhere in his heart, he longed to go back to the village, and most importantly he longed to go back to his mother. तो चाहे मम्मी या पापा या पेरेंट्स हमारे जितना भी डांट लें, जितना भी हमको उस समय हमको बहुत बुरे लगते हैं, हमको बहुत गुस्सा आती है उन लोग के ऊपर, और लेकिन जब हम लोग को उनके बिना रहना पड़ता है ना, तब हमको रियलाइज़ होता है कि ओ आई एम मिसिंग देम, आई विश दे वर देयर. तब हमको उन लोगों की इम्पोर्टेंस पता चलती है. एंड दैट्स व्हाट इज़ हैपनिंग टू Pathek. He is now realizing that how much he loves his mother. And it's just a beautiful comparison उसने दिया हुआ राइटर ने, कि it is just like a calf. जैसे एक बछड़ा रात जब हो जाती है तो पूरा घूम फिर के वो अपनी माँ के पास आ जाता है, और उसकी जो मदर काव है वो उसको उसके सर से टच करती है. And that you know that instinct when the animals touch each other and show their affection, he's crying for that. उसको ये लग रहा है कि काश मेरी माँ मेरे सर पे हाथ फेर दे, या मुझे गले लगा ले, या मेरे पास अपने पास सुला ले. That would be more than enough for him. So he in his heart he starts fretting. Fretting मतलब होता है कि वो मन ही मन में अपने मम्मी के लिए और विलेज के लिए तड़पने लगा है, पर वो एक्सप्रेस नहीं कर पा रहा है. So he becomes very cranky and very agitated. मतलब चिड़चिड़ा, और हमेशा गुस्से में रहता है, and his attitude has started changing. The saddest part is that what he is going through, he's not able to express that to anybody, and that's what is hurting him inside. And he wants to run away from that place, he wants to go back to the village, he wants to be with the mother, and unfortunately he is not able to do that. So andar he is becoming very frustrated and irritated and angry, and like he is developing a very angry nature, which will affect his relationship with his auntie also. Okay, so I hope you have understood till here. I'll continue the chapter in the next segment. Till then, read the story, those who have still not read it. Go through the videos again, those who have not seen it. And if you do not understand, which I doubt, क्योंकि मुझे पता है आपको समझ में आ जाता है, you all are very good children. And we'll see you next week, in the next video. Okay, take care, bye bye.